Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Hot Takes Valorant Edition, joined as ever by Zach. And Zach, you're still in Santiago. How has it been in
Yeah.
South America?
Oh, it's been really great. All the seasons and stuff are inverted. The sky is different. The weather is super good. It's the end of summer. I don't know why I'm going into broadcaster mode, but yeah, most importantly, I would say that I really enjoyed Santiago as a city. I think that it's the experience at the events, the Masters was the best Masters I've seen. The crowd was amazing every single day. They showed up for every single team, I would say. All the games were really insane. So yeah, it was a pretty fantastic tournament.
What was the best thing you ate in Santiago?
That I ate so far. So they have something called a completo here, which is like a hot dog, but like thicker and more food. I guess I don't know. It's really delicious. So I had one of those with a lot of avocado and yeah, soya. It was really delicious.
There you go, we're getting to the
But
important
yeah, also
bits.
the
I'm
wine.
guessing it's this,
The
right?
wine is really good. Sorry?
Stacked. No, I've got it up on screen. What I presume is the right thing. Yeah, completo
Oh, yep.
Chile.
That's the bad boy. They always put a lot of avocado on them, so they're really fresh and delicious.
They love them
Yeah,
avocados
I
down
think
there.
that's the. It's cheap as well. Like one of these bad boys with some fries and a drink is like $5 or $6, so it's fantastic.
Good,
And they're
good.
everywhere, so you can just buy it on the street.
Yeah, because I know, like,
Also, the cinnamon rolls.
I think there must be a thing with like well, North Americans as well. There's love a hot dog. Because I
I
know
think any culture loves the combination of bread, meat, and some form of sauce or vegetables or something.
so
Every single culture that I've seen has had one.
there's another like
If
Latin
you think,
thing elsewhere, salchipapa, which is like you literally just eat like chips. Well, for me, chips. For Americans, French fries. But the word's wrong.
yeah,
French fries,
eh,
chips with like bits of hot dog, just like chopped up and mixed in with the
yeah,
chips.
that too. I think it's a breakfast item. They've got like bacon on top of fries and some piece of
Nice,
meat and eggs on top of that. So it's nice, heavy
of course.
protein.
Yes, absolutely. Um, well, we're not a food podcast, so fortunately,
Sadly.
I'd be stuck in. But let's talk about Valorant then. Um, Nongshim are Masters champions, the team from Premier to Ascension to VCT to Masters. I mean, it's this the story like that whole story is just insane. The fact that 3 out of the 5 are still there from the group that got through Premier originally is just absolutely nuts. And it's like the best advert that Valorant could have for like the path to pro and Premier like as a feature and everything. Um, Especially as an old league head coming from that game that's fully franchised. There's no way in. There's no there's no amateur to pro kind of pathway like that. And to see a team actually do the whole thing is crazy. And that's before
Hmm.
obviously we're letting tier 2 teams potentially into champs this year as well. So it's fully opened up for even more like crazy stories like that. Um, but deserved winners. It wasn't even actually. This is one thing. Maybe Let's just start with the final.
Okay.
Shall we be honest and say and admit the final was a bit crap? It's just
Yeah,
so
it was, I
one-sided
would think, the
in terms of like an
worst
actual
final.
yeah, in terms of just a competitive match. Where was Paper X?
I think to be honest, they seemed. I would say, look, I was a Paper X fan. That final really sucked to watch, but
You were
I
a
also
Paper X
think they.
fan.
I am a Paper X
Oh,
fan.
okay,
I'm
okay,
very
okay,
happy
okay,
that they
okay.
came second, but I'm really sad that it's a. But I'm used to it. This is the third time we're finishing
Yeah,
second, so it's okay. At least we have a trophy. It's fine. It sucks, but at least we beat NA team 6 out of 7 times, so there's something to be said for that. Regional superiority is still Pacific winning, but yeah, I mean, talking about the final in particular, I think that it came down to two things. First of all, Paper X played way more games than Nongshim throughout not just Santiago, but also kickoff because they had to play the Swiss stage at Santiago. I'm sorry about that. That's my friend's dog. Yeah, they had to play the Swiss stage at Santiago, and then they had to also play a lot of games in the lower bracket, and they also barely made it through kickoff. They won like they had to make that whole 4 wins in a row in a lower bracket to make it here in the first place. So they've been playing a lot of games. They had a new player join them who's been doing really well. I think overall it wasn't like too disappointing for um, these guys, I would say. But yeah, I mean, still coming second sucks. I think it's just a perfect tournament coming in from Nongshim.
yeah.
You talked about it, right? The Premier to Ascension pipeline. So I mean, yeah, Dambi, Ivy, and Francis, they played Premier. They joined Sinprisa. Sinprisa won Ascension. They got picked up by Nongshim. They won Ascension again, and yeah, it's just been perfect. They've been really using the meta to their advantage, and their micro gameplay has just been absolutely incredible on so many levels. I think that everyone is gonna be giving Dambi a lot of credit for this tournament, but I think he deserves it 100%. His neon is definitely the best neon in the world. I think all the teams really struggled to find an answer to that,
Yeah.
whether it was PaperX or G2 or NRG. I think that they just looked exceptional throughout. I think that said, it's also a combination of a bunch of other things because the meta is really good for them. They have arguably the best Euro player. I'll just tell you this: last year Francis was playing Scat Initiator, and Francis was not even opping, and now he's like probably the best Euro opper. Like maybe Lovers Rock beats him, but I think for most of the tournament, this guy has just been incredibly consistent. He's my personal MVP in terms of like gameplay. But yeah, RB as well. I'm very happy for him. I think that if anybody deserves a trophy, it has to be this guy because he started with that Vision Strikers roster, joined DRX, couldn't get a trophy, came third, and moved to another region, played in tier 2 for a bit, played in China, came back. And when he was on Vision Strikers, he was one of the youngest players there. He was the rookie, but now he's like IGL. He's a leader that everybody looks up to. And every single player on the team that I interviewed since we got to talk to, three of them, by the way, they were very nice. They said like, yeah, we were very happy to take your interview. So yeah, shout out to Nongshim for being so kind, and I'm very happy
And
to talk
fuck
to.
PaperX.
Um, I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, PRX, why you no give me interview? I asked you every single day. Depression. But I mean, Nongshim were super nice about it. So yeah, I was very happy to be able to talk to them so much, and I think that was the biggest theme that all three interviews had because we talked to Francis, Ivy, as well as Dambi, and all three of them really talked about the leadership and the IGLing experience that RB has brought to the team since he joined them, not just in their run here at Santiago, but also in kickoff at Ascension. So there's a lot more structure to the team, and in general, the meta is perfect for them. The double duelist, I mean, they've got the best neon in the world. I think that's undeniable at this point. Francis has been really good as well, stepping up to that Euro meta. So yeah, I think they were just the best prepared, and because of all the extra time they had time to watch PaperX and RGG2 during the Swiss stage. They had time to prepare while PaperX had to make that lower bracket gauntlet. Playing like a best of 3 and then 2 best of 5s is like no easy feat. So there's always that buff as well. And most of all, they had that map veto advantage, right? They were able to force PaperX to play Abyss, which was their perma ban. They also anti-stratted them so perfectly on split because PaperX were 6-0 at Santiago on split. They shit on everybody else. Well, okay, they shit on the Americas teams and AG, but still, to go from that to dominating a map throughout the whole tournament to just not being able to do it was a bit rough. Yeah.
And I guess one thing that's going to be interesting, I think, and it sets up nicely, like to go to stage 1 and beyond, is how like hyper specific the meta was for them and how good they were. Like you say, with Dambi on the neon, just being like clearly the best player at the tournament on that agent, and that helping them to win so much. And now maybe things are going to change with the patch. Maybe it won't be like quite the same, at least with the Yoru, to pair it with that. So we'll be able to see like, is it just that they're so good at this specific meta that meant that they stopped the tournament, and is that why they suddenly came out and became the best team in the world in like the last 2 months? Or once things change, will it go a bit back to normal? I think it's going to be sort of interesting to see how they can adapt as well and see if they can be this
Mhm.
like elite outside of this meta as well.
I mean, I think about the meta, that's definitely going to be a factor, but that said, Nongshim wasn't one of those original Psycho double duelist teams in Pacific. I know because that was very interesting to me because I think one of the things that PaperX mentioned during the press conferences, I think Forsaken mentioned it or Devi mentioned it. They talked about how this meta is perfect for Pacific teams in general because they're used to running the double duelist. They've always been like very aggressive and with lower amounts of information being there, as well as it being a very double duelist Yoru focused meta. It's served them pretty well. But that said, Nongshim wasn't one of those teams because, like I said, Francis used to be a scan initiator player. I think, yes, they always had Dambi being that tip of the spear, being like that exceptional duelist, but this team is also very flexible. I think that flexibility, as well as the preparation, was the biggest buff. They had Yeoman coming in this year into the coaching staff, so he was coming in after a year playing with global esports as a player, so he definitely had a lot of insights to that. And I think the whole team as well, with RB's experience with China, and even if Nongshim weren't able to really show off very well in Pacific last year, they still weren't the worst team by far. They were like very steadily middle, top of the middle pack. And I think that it's been a long time cooking. RB joining them was just that extra bit of experience that they needed
Yeah.
for such a young roster. Yeah, so I think even with the meta adaptations, they should be pretty prepared because they've got a pretty robust coaching staff. And I mean, RB, one of the things that really made this tournament special and Dambi winning MVP special was because RB was the OG Neon, right? When Neon came out, DRX was the team to pioneer Neon on Split, not even on Split, sorry, on Haven. They were RB was the first guy to really pick up the Asian, and then a lot of other regions and teams joined him. But he was one of the first players I really remember who played it to such a high caliber and degree. So seeing Neon being the MVP of this tournament, that makes people rage and have like clickbaity Reddit posts. Should we ban the judge? Should we ban Neon? You know, this is why we need agent bans in Valorant, etc., etc. I mean, yes, Dambi was a really terrible player to deal with in terms of the judge and the Bucky, but I also think that it was just his movement in general that was the biggest buff, right? This guy is sliding past you and he just like hits two people in the head with the Phantom, and he's been doing that for years. So I think it's just insane practice. I think that with the next patch not really having any Neon nerfs, I don't think Neon is sadly going to be going anywhere. We're going to be continuing seeing the Neon and Waylays fly around like pesky little mosquitoes. At least we should be seeing a drop in the Yoru with the Flash and the TP being nerfed so much. So there, we might go back to the single duelist meta because I think in the patch the initiators also had like a recharge, right? They're getting like their flashes and stuff back. So the meta should be a little bit more slow. But yeah, for this tournament, I think Nongshim had the most time to prepare, and they definitely used it really, really well. And you could see the impact of that throughout their entire run. I mean, once they warmed up, they won that first game against Gentlemates, and then they bullied NRG and Paper X later in the final. G2 was the only team that even took a map off of them. Like I don't think any team has won a tournament this dominant fashion
It's the
since that
whole run.
first
Yeah, the
Sentinels
run
run.
for,
And
like from kickoff
yeah,
to global champion is like so
insane. Yeah,
efficient as well. It's nuts. What did you like? Did you enjoy the meta? Because that was like a talking point during
I
the
did
tournament as well.
personally.
I couldn't see
I mean,
really what the issue is unless you're uh like maybe a Valorant purist that likes the chess match to happen or something. But literally, it was like this time last year when everyone was complaining that it was just too much util. There's not enough.
too much util. Yeah.
Yeah, that it was like boring to watch and it wasn't what they wanted it to be. I guess like maybe it's the extreme on the other end of being able to just like run 100 miles per hour and shoot someone in the face with a shotgun, and then that's maybe not ideal either. But it's a damn sight better than the opposite, I think.
I mean, yeah, I agree with you. As a spectator, I really enjoyed this tournament, and I think that's one of the things that Francis said as well, right? When we got to interview him, I asked like some of the players to tell me in one line what they think about the current meta, and I think he said something along the lines of, "Yeah, this is very difficult to play and plan for, but very fun to watch as a viewer." And as a viewer, it was really nice because there were so many hype moments, individual plays coming out on top. And I will tell you, Nongshim knows how to bait for their teammates for an ace because I will tell you, they know how to do it. I think Ivy's ace yesterday in the final was one of the good aces that we saw. That wasn't just one person going crazy. Like, yes, he got the first 4 kills like a crazy guy, but the rest of them, his teammates were helping him and were baiting him and forcing him to go die first. So I really shout out to Nongshim for that, like power of friendship. I definitely believe now. But in terms of the meta, I think it was really fun to watch. I do think that some of the agents are pretty overtuned, and this has always been a problem. I play a lot of ranked personally, and especially when you're playing like Diamond Descendant lobbies, you get a lot of Smurfs, and they usually run the Neon or the Waylay or the Reyna. And I can tell you it's really annoying because they just know how to leverage that agent. And if you're not able to, at least when you're playing in a tournament, you have like some team dynamics, you can try to counter it somehow. But these agents are very strong individually, and you can pull off a lot of plays. So I'm hoping that with the meta changing a little bit from the hero, we'll be seeing more of that team aspect coming back in. I think that was the biggest complaint I had. It's not even a complaint. Like, yeah, as a Valorant analyst, I would say, like, yeah, okay, there were a lot of things that wouldn't be possible in other metas because there's more utility or more coordination available. But I think that in terms of the team that won, Nongshim definitely had the most coordination by far of any team in this tournament. They were so consistent in every single game. And even one of my friends was pointing this out. Even if you look at the final, right? You see every other team playing in this tournament, and they're jumping up, they're shouting at each other, they're being hype, they're feeling the crowd, and all of that is great. And you look at Nongshim's game yesterday, and they're just like, yeah, okay, it's another day at work. We're used to slapping people around. We're gonna win this tournament without even sweating. It's so disrespectful, but so badass at the same time. I really like that.
Well, talking of the vibes and the environment, then was the crowd as good there as it looked online? Because it looked really good. And what I really liked as well, and this at least came across on even on the broadcast, is what you mentioned earlier. Like they were cheered for everybody as well, which is really nice. Especially like you do get some crowds that are so loud, but then especially it's like in a certain region and they're a team will
Hashtag lock in.
yeah, exactly. And I feel like yeah, Brazilians probably are like the notorious worst slash best for this. Is like when there's a Brazilian team playing in Brazil, they'll be the best fans in the world. When it's like any other team, especially if they're against the Brazilians, they're not exactly cheering for them. So um, it was really nice to see like this. Yeah, they were cheering for every team and like not even just making noise, like they literally doing chants for every team as well. It looked really nice. Yeah, what was it like in person?
It was amazing. I mean, I think that in terms of the event itself, this was probably the best Valorant event I've been to, and this is my fourth one. So, of course, I haven't been to a Champions there yet, so maybe they have more people objectively, but in terms of the quality of the crowd, I think in terms of consistency throughout an event, this was 100% the best one because from day one and day two were a Saturday and Sunday, if I'm not wrong. So it was a weekend. Okay, fine. You're going to have people coming. It was completely jam packed. You had people every day, everywhere cheering. They were cheering for all the teams, like I said. So the atmosphere was fantastic. They were also just so passionate in general. Also, shout out to the hype guy. His name is Cantor. So he was the guy like hyping up the crowd and doing the chants in the halftime and everything. He had so much energy, and the crowd they were like perfectly mirroring each other. I think every single person I met here was just so incredibly nice, but also so happy and passionate that their crowd and their country was recognized for an event like this. And I think that in terms of the vibe, Santiago is peak. And this wasn't just the weekend, right? Because that was just the first 2 days and the playoff weekend and the last days of the Swiss stage, but also the days during the week when you had that whole week of games. Again, every single day people were showing up. All the activations were popping. They had like a really fun thing where you have like a giant glass boot and you just go scream in it for your team. You pick a team and then you go scream for it, and it shows you like how many decibels you cracked, or like it just measures your screaming and it gives you like a rating. So, let's say like if you're average and you can for 10 seconds you're able to maintain it but not scream super loud, it'll give you like 200. I went every single day at least 3 times to go scream for Paper X, and I'm proud to tell you that by the end of the tournament they were the dominant force. Every day I was contributing like 1,000 points myself. So yeah, we might have lost, but that was really fun. They had like something where you had to pump up a spike, some Red Bull activation, and the winning team gets Red Bulls and stuff. They had like a bunch of merch from Leviathan and crew. They were selling like fan boxes. They had like a bunch of food stalls. They had like really good bathrooms. I shout out to the organization of this event because it was honestly W from day one. The bathrooms were great. I think the only problem that they really had in terms of organization was the merch selling out really fast, especially on the first few days. But they started ordering more merch, so that was solved as well. I think the event started on time. It ended on time. In fact, it ended early because of so many 2-0s. The sunset isn't until 8, so usually when you came out, there was a little bit of daylight. The arena had parking, well connected, whatever. So in terms of organization, it was fantastic. And yeah, I think every single person really likes Valorant here. So many cosplayers. The people were so incredibly passionate. I really love talking to everyone. I got to work on my terrible Spanish, but yeah, I mean, it was really nice hearing about everybody. I think a lot of people were very sad that there wasn't like Leviathan or crew representing them.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I feel bad for
but
crew because
you
they
wouldn't
just
have
got
known it
fucked by the
from
visa
the
situation.
yeah,
Yeah,
true,
they would.
true.
I feel like if yeah, there were a lot of panels that had the players from Latin America come and talk. They had the voice actors as well for Reyes and Tejo on the first few days, but then they had some meet and greets with the left team. They had Sato come over. They also I saw the CEO of Leviathan doing tequila shots. So at like one of the after parties at the Love Fraternity bar. I guess there's a bar that has the Love Fraternity and they have like the logo, the branding, and everything. It was like after one of the games. And yeah, I'm just gonna tell you that guy knows how to party. Like I have so much respect for him, bro. He's the goat. Yeah, people know how to party here. That is something else. I realized like yeah, okay. I have a lot to learn, but I'm very happy with whatever I have experienced. The whole event was just honestly fantastic. High energy crowd, so many individual moments from the individual players. Players really loved it as well. There was a lot of
Yeah.
love here for G2 and for NRG in particular. I know for a fact that a lot of my friends here, my new Chilean and Latam friends, especially the ladies, love Mata. Um, so they call him their little snow Latino because he's like a white guy but also loves a lot of culture, and he's been very
Nice.
passionate about it too. So they call him their little snow Latino. It's very cute. Yeah, but I think NRG had a lot of fans. People were a bit sad when they didn't make it, but they also like Paper Rex and they really like Nongshim.
Yeah.
Dambi has been a big hit here. He has a lot of fans from Santiago now, so the whole roster does. But yeah, Dambi in particular, people were always screaming when he was doing something crazy. And yeah, I think my favorite part about the crowd is that they shit on everybody who saved equally. It doesn't matter what team you are. You go
Yeah,
and you
the
try to save a
whistling.
gun, and they start booing. They start booing and whistling for you.
That
Like,
was
no,
so
you're not
funny
allowed
because
to save.
I guess you would never have seen, but like it literally comes the whistling thing. Like I'm assuming that's where they're doing it. Like
It
it
comes
comes
on the
from
broadcast. You can hear it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So but it's a thing that you do in football. Like basically in a football match, if it's like the last minute and like your team needs a goal and the thing is going really slowly, the other team is trying to waste time. Like that's what you do. Everyone's just whistling. The whole stadium is whistling, and it just I was watching on
Uh-huh.
broadcast. It was like so funny to hear it in in an esports match, like having been used to it in football.
They are
That was really cool.
super big into football here, okay? Like my
Yeah, yeah,
third
yeah.
day in Santiago, I was walking home and there was a football match between the Universidad de Chile and Colo Colo, which is another team here. And I was walking home and I tell you, like at least four different people stopped me and they were like, "Which team do you support?" And I'm like, "Bro, I'm not from Chile. I have no stake in this." But yeah, a couple of people wouldn't let me pass until I was like, "Colo Colo, vamos, Colo Colo." I had to like do the cheer before they let me pass. Like I was like, "Okay, yeah, sure. I'm a fan now. It's okay. Cool." I have no stake in football, so to me it's okay. It doesn't feel
I think
super
they
weird. It was the same
I've
in
heard of Colo Colo. I think that's like probably the biggest team. I'm guessing. But yeah,
it's very
because you can
popular
see
in
it as well. Like
Latam. But yeah.
all the traveling fans from like all over Latin America. You can see loads of like uh like seeing football shirts from all over, which is really cool. Everyone got to travel. Very nice. And you know what they did?
I think
What I think worked well for them, uh, and not like the fans so much, but like the broadcast and how they leveraged it as being uh, a tournament in Chile. Because I get
mhm.
it like with the Masters, especially the way that like in Valorant, like you name the tournament based on the city it's in, and that's like part of the charm of it. You can get a fine line where it like becomes a bit too much when you're watching online. If it becomes too much about like just this place, and I'm thinking, well, I'm not there, so I don't. I'm just watching the matches, you know what I mean? But they did well to like. I feel like they were almost on the edge of it sometimes, but they never. For me, it never crossed the line, and it was always just like, yeah, fun to see the crowd and stuff. And they played it well. Um,
I think it was a big thing for because I talked to a lot of journalists. There was a lot of LATAM representatives
yeah,
from all over South America and of course the US as well. And Mexico, and basically everywhere, all the Americas, there was a decent amount of rep because it's closer for them, I suppose.
of
I mean,
course.
even the people flying in from LA had like 11-hour flights, so I don't feel too bad, all things considered. You'd think the Americas would be closer for the Americas region, but Santiago is far for everybody, so all good. Nothing like my 38-hour flight, but it's okay. It makes me feel better. But yeah, I think that I talked to a lot of the Latin media, and I think it's a really big deal for everybody in South America in general because it's the first major Valorant event happening
Yeah,
here. Yes, there was lock-in in Brazil, but also that was like an invitational. This is something that you have to earn. And yeah, I mean, I would say the culture here, it's just perfect. They really know how to cheer for their teams and how to enjoy an experience like this. I think that the only other masters that I wasn't there physically, but the only other masters that I really thought was at this level would be Masters Tokyo. I think that crowd was equally hype and equally there were like a lot of really good games and stuff, and that was also a very dominant final win. RIP. But yeah, I think in terms of atmosphere, that's probably the closest comparison I can give you. In terms of all the events I've been, I mean, Madrid, even Seoul or Bangkok. The problem is that the first few days or the Swiss stage, or if there's not an EMEA team playing in the case of Madrid, the arena was always a bit more empty, half full
yeah,
kind of thing, except for the last few days. But this event, every single day people showed up, and that was amazing.
yeah,
Also, every
absolutely.
single day the merch sold out, and not even like selling out at the end. It was sold out like in the first few hours. People here love their merch. They so much merch. It was amazing.
I guess maybe it could be like, sometimes when it's like a global company like Riot, and like depending on what country you come from and what currency you're in, like somehow it just ends up being like way more expensive for some people as well in certain countries. I wonder if that has a bit of an impact compared to like when they just ship it there and it's all there already. Maybe it's cheaper as well, so they're stocking up.
I
Um,
think I'm pretty sure that the jerseys and the windbreakers and whatever are like fixed price though globally. There's not because I've
oh
tried
right,
buying stuff in India and I've bought them in Europe and the
okay,
prices
fair
at the
enough.
place here as well. It's just like for example, if it's the jacket and it's like $60, it's $60. It doesn't matter what currency you pay in. It's like fixed. So
Did
yeah,
they have
I don't think there's
were there teams selling jerseys?
I don't think I think Leviathan was selling a fan box, but it was more of like a box that you buy and you get like invites to their parties, you get the jersey and a full kit, and you get it at a discount because you're buying it there, limited edition stuff. But yeah, I think most of them were just giving stuff away, like posters. Crew was giving away a bunch of posters. Nongshim was giving away fans. They had like a really cute fan with Panda. And yeah, all the teams were giving posters to the people in the arena. I couldn't get most of them because I was in the press room, but I got the fan, so I got the limited edition fan. I just didn't get it autographed because I forgot. But I finished my Paper X autograph collection. I just need Patmans now. I have like a bandana with all the players signed, and it was missing Jing because I got it in 2023 in Madrid. So it didn't have Jing on it. So I finally got Jing and NB signatures. So I just need Patman now. So I'll have like, everybody that was on
Wicked,
Paper X.
good. It's always really weird with the like actual team jerseys. So I've been to other events where it's usually not all of them, but there'll be maybe like 4, 5, 6 teams will have a stock of jerseys being sold at the shop, and the price ranges are just like always insane. Like there'll always be one team that's like double the price of others. Um, so just curious. Um,
I
let's
think
move on.
here only the LATAM teams were allowed to sell the jerseys at
Oh
all
really?
because they're the only jersey, yeah, and only like as the fan box. I don't think any team was
Yeah.
allowed to sell their own jersey here, which I mean would have been very chaotic. So, yeah, I do know that PaperX, somebody from the social team managed to get a jersey to the hotel room of Megan from Cat's Eye, which is why she was wearing it during the final. I also appreciate her because she was wearing like the Nongshim cat ears as well, or the raccoon ears, I guess. They look like cat ears though, but yeah, they're the red raccoon ears, so they're mascot's ears. So it was really cute. But yeah, I saw this meme. You know how I sent you that memes that said days since EMEA won a grand final, 900 days.
Yeah.
Days since Megan from Cat's Eye won a final one day. It's the same for Paper X, because days since someone in a PRX won a trophy. It's been like a year, but Megan from Cat's Eye just got one, so it's okay.
Well, she didn't get a trophy, in fairness. But yeah, it was
Well,
like it
not a
was like wasn't it
trophy. She
like
won a
maps
game.
won on a grand final or something, right?
I
Which is
felt I
true.
felt
She's
so
got that.
bad for Kesnet, yeah, but because like Kesnet was on the opposite team, and this guy was not playing it like it was a pro match, man. This guy was playing like it was a VCT game on the line, like with NB or something. He was like clutching up like 1v5s and shit, bringing his team back into it. But I did like the new game mode. It looked really shit on broadcast because they were trying to show off the new agent, and people cared more about the agent than about game
Yeah.
mode, which is basically like a 5v5. You kill somebody and they get like one of your teammates gets respawned, so you're never out of hope. But yeah, there's like space on the map, so it kind of teaches you how to attack. I feel like a lot of the clowns I see in ranked could play a few rounds of this before we head into the actual game, could teach them something. I doubt it, but one can hope. That's it though. I do like the game mode. I think it's fast. I think it's fun. I think it's a kind of an interesting way to warm up, I suppose. It's like team deathmatch but faster. So I'm like a lazy person. I don't like doing deathmatches because they take so long. So this
I
is
did
like more
see.
efficient for me, I think.
I think it was I saw a Reddit thread as well that was like a complaint on on like how the show match came across. Just it was like a bit chaotic and
They could have
difficult
just
to
played a
watch.
Spike Rush. It would have been so much nicer because there's no point in the abilities and they take longer to charge and stuff. We didn't really get to see the new agents in detail, but I did get access to play test him. I was testing him in the range a little bit earlier. We'll probably put up some content on that later once I finish recording. But I mean, so far, usually whenever a new agent comes out, they're always fucking broken. So it's been nice to see
Yeah.
that the new agent, for once, has actually seems a bit balanced, and we're not going to see people going psycho to insta-lock him because he's not insanely broken. and he's a very supportive agent. So I mean, if you have a friend who plays Neon, I think it's going to be a really good agent for enabling your duelists. But I think, yeah, it's a very supportive character overall, and it's always nice to have people encouraged in picking more controllers, if out of curiosity, if nothing else. So having another healer is definitely good. The problem is, I was testing him out, and this motherfucker can heal your enemies, man. You put down like a healing orb, and your enemy walks through it, they get a heal too. So you got to be really careful how you put stuff out here. Same with the stun as well. You can also break his abilities, but they usually get off of pulse, so it's like 30 HP heal. It's like almost a full heal, like 93 HP. It's like 31 per healing pulse, and it's 3 pulses, and it takes 2 bullets to break. So unless it's an operator, so I think you can get off at least 1 pulse too if your opponents are slow. But yeah, the fact that it heals your enemies is kind of like, oh, what the fuck. I think it's the first agent who can kind of do that.
Yeah.
His stun as well, I think it's like a breach ult. It pushes people off the thing. So it's nice again to set up your team, but it's gonna be really difficult for you to make a play off of it unless it's like a 1v1 situation, I would say. But yeah, overall he's a pretty good initiator controller hybrid. Like, yeah, I know he's supposed to be a controller, but he feels very much like an initiator in terms of how you want to play him with the stim and everything. So yeah, I'd say an actually balanced agent, another twink agent added to the repository of Valorant twink agents. I don't know what else to call him. He looks like Gecko's cousin slash boyfriend. I really like the design. I think a lot of people here as well, they played the trailer in Spanish, so he was talking in Spanish,
Right.
and people were just like, yeah, he sounds just like he could be from Santiago. He's like another South American guy, so they've adopted him kind of. They really like him. I like his design personally. I think it's really cute. I also love the song. I like Clarity in general, so the remix, it might like beat some of the songs we've had for Champions before. It's a really good remix. I really enjoyed it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I like how the agent seems to be so far. I haven't had a chance to use him in ranked yet since he's not out, but in terms of game balance, at least this is an agent that isn't fucking broken right from the get go, so it's super
That's
nice.
nice. Yeah.
I think the healing is going to be really good though, like just being able to drop a heal and get your teammates, like a group of your teammates, up from 0 to 100 or 0 to 90 is really good.
Cool. One thing on back on Masters that I wanted to discuss was how should we be giving MVPs? Because previously they always seemed to be. It's always and it might have still even been called this, but it's always a finals MVP.
Mm-hmm.
And you give it generally to whoever was the best player in the finals. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Dambi was MVP. Probably wasn't the best player on the day, or like definitely wasn't the best player on the day.
No, the best player on the final was X Ross.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
no,
by a
no
country
question.
mile. But Dambi like definitely deserved it if you're doing like a tournament MVP.
Yeah.
And actually, I prefer that. Like, I feel like this makes more sense. You've just won the whole tournament. If we're going to crown a specific player for a great achievement, I feel like it should be for the whole tournament. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, did you get to vote on site? I know usually like they let
Uh,
the on-site
I
press
think I
have a vote.
think I think some of them did, but I don't. I maybe I missed it when I was
Oh, right.
recording or something. But yeah, I think that for the MVP though, I think that this time they mentioned it was the tournament MVP on stage, so maybe
Oh,
they
really?
bothered to
That's
make
what's up.
that
Yeah.
distinguishment. I don't know. Yeah, so that was a bit different. But I think that the biggest difference for that I saw in this tournament, or not even a difference, I think my observation is Dambi, in terms of psychological impact, was definitely the one who had the most on every single team. Like every
I can
single person
imagine.
was so
Yeah.
scared of this guy. I think even in the grand final, that was one of the press conference afterwards. Forsaken, like word for word, said that like, yeah, Dambi's Zambi's insane space taking and just the overall level of skill that he showed. No team really had a counter for that, including Paper X. So yeah, I think he was a very key factor in Nongshim's run. But yeah, I think for me, the whole team had to work together perfectly because Ivy was clutching so many rounds individually, 1v2, 1v3, 1v4. RB was IGLing the whole thing. X Ross with the utility was perfect. And of course, Francis was just honestly for me, Francis, in terms of the raw data, has had just as much impact, if not more than Dambi, because Dambi takes the space, but if he doesn't get it, Francis is the one who follows up and gets a double kill, or has that preemptive peaks with the op, even if Dambi is jumping for him. So yeah, I mean, I think that all of Nongshim deserves the credit for this win, even if Dambi was kind of the
Yeah.
highlight player from the reels and stuff. So I don't object to him getting it. I think he definitely had like the impact that the team needed to win the tournament, for sure. But yeah, I do think that compared to other events, maybe this award was definitely more for the player of the tournament rather
Yeah,
than the player of the game or something. Because I think that, yeah, like the Pacific Finals, for example, Forsaken was the MVP of the third qualifier because he dropped 101 kills. But I think at Toronto, he was the MVP of the tournament because even if he played really well during that grand final, I think even if his other games weren't as high frag, he was still doing the IGLing and taking a lot of the flexibility aspect for the team. So I think, yeah, they probably considered all of those factors before giving
yeah.
it.
I
Also
think
social appeal. I mean, let's face it, Dambi MVP sounds so much cooler than RB or Francis or anybody else. Like,
no, I think it's good. It makes more sense to me. Also, like an MVP of a series, you don't even need that just for the final. They could just that could be an award every series. There's no reason not to pick one. They don't
yeah, but
they
I'm
don't
pretty
have
sure
to
those
they don't
shiny
have to give him.
bracelets
Yeah,
are
I was gonna say
expensive.
they don't have to ice him out just for winning like a day one best of three. But
Those things are really heavy. They have like diamonds on them and shit.
I can imagine.
Because
Um,
Forsaken and Dambi were both mentioning it. Like, yeah, it's fucking heavy, bro.
but yeah, they could just like give an MVP. It doesn't even need to be an award. Just say who is the MVP every time. It's a nice little recognition. But I think it makes more sense. The tournament one, yeah, goes to or the final one. Sorry, goes to like the best player in the tournament. Especially when you focus it on
It's
the finals itself. That's when you open up to like some awkward scenarios, like what happened in Toronto when like maybe Alpha Air could have been the finals MVP. Like he was like insane on the
yeah,
final
but he
day.
didn't
And
win.
yeah, but what we saying then is it for the best winner, or is it the best fight? That's what I'm saying as well. Like the MVP of the tournament, it's a lot easier to understand why that has to be a winner of the tournament, that rather than the finals MVP. When like to me, that seems like much more eligible to be a loser if they're like
Mhm.
outstanding on the day. So yeah, I'm just for me, it makes more sense. I'm glad they'll do it like that moving forwards. Hopefully,
I think, yeah, I mean, for this two things, like, I mean, about the grand final MVP, it's very funny because I was going through X Ross's stats, right? And this guy is a best of five merchant, like, both in the Pacific Kickoff final as well as this final, he MVP'd. But every other game, bro has been the bottom frag, basically, for most of the other games, or like towards the bottom too. So it's just really funny. He pops off in every best of five and then goes back to sleep to just provide util for the team. But yeah, I think that in terms of the overall award, I'm not super unhappy. I think that Dambi definitely, I mean, most valuable player, he was the one putting the fear of God in every single opponent, whether they were from EMEA, China, or Americas, or
yeah,
any other region, Pacific as well. I think Bro was putting the fear of God in them himself, and I can't think of any other player who inspires the same level of terror. I mean, something maybe inconsistent though, unfortunately. Same with Lovers Rock, like he's really insane, but yeah, I mean, you can't expect him to pop off every time, but Dambi was there every time. Like even if he wasn't top frag, he
yeah.
had the first kills, he was taking the duels, he had the impact, so the consistency was definitely there. So I don't think it's a bad award. I think it's also like an award that's for not just tangible but also intangible impact. And I think that Dambi being such a beast that scares teams before they even play him, as well as just in general the intimidation that the fans that this guy had, really, yeah, it showed in the gameplay, but also in the offstage presence as well. I really liked that Nongshim put together such a good show because, yeah, I mean, all of them were incredibly consistent and dominant throughout. They didn't even look lost at any point of this tournament except for that one map where G2 almost came back on. Every single other game was pretty dominant, or they were confident in the comeback. They looked so calm. I don't think I've ever seen a team look so calm in a win. Everybody else has always been like hype or jumping around or stressed, and these
Yeah.
guys are just like, it's okay, we're chilling.
Well, maybe it's like where there's still most of them are a bunch of like, well, not rookies, but they're still fresh players, and they've got to be respectful to all these older players, and especially RB is like the calmest one. It feels like so. Um,
Yeah, he's insanely
they've got to
calm. I
follow
don't
his
think
lead.
I've even seen him like go, let's go or something. He's just been like, let's go.
Yeah.
Chill.
Um,
Zen guru.
but you mentioned Lovers Rock there. Now this was another narrative that played out until they were eliminated. Um,
Uh-huh.
that just BBL became everybody's favorite hate watch after. Um,
Hey, not me. I like him.
and listen, you and Hotspawn's coverage played a pretty decent part in that narrative. I'd like to think, teeing them up nicely and them giving us some nice, easy headlines. But yeah, I think it started right in the press conference from Lovers Rock, if I'm not wrong. But I mean, to be fair, like the whole team
Yeah,
was
that's
saying shit. But Yeah, they were
No, it was
just
the thing is, it was really funny because Lovers Rock said it in Turkish first, and he was like, "What the fuck? I speak English," and then he was just like, "Yeah, I didn't learn anything from this game. They sucked." He didn't say sucked, but like, "I didn't learn
yeah,
anything from this game. There was nothing to learn. I could have played better. That's about it." And he was saying that while he had like a 30 bomb on that map. So I don't know. I think he was just pissed they lost.
yeah. So he'd said that, and then yeah, Rose gave you the best one, in my opinion. Like after losing to NRG as well, that's what makes this one so perfect, like so much more funny. Is yeah, to lose to the world champions, and then just be like, actually, they're not very good. We should have beaten them. They're not that good. They're easy to read.
See, he's not wrong. They were just fucking throwing. Because I remember that map three very perfectly. Like the first two maps, okay, I think both of them were their like each team's pick, and they were able to show off pretty well. But map number three, okay, these guys were so fucking ahead. They had like good strategy. So the first problem is NRG comes back, takes it to overtime. Okay, fine. Moving on. Overtime. They have a 4v2. They're on match point. They're at like 14-13. They have a 4v2. They're the four, and they lose it because they decide to hide from Brock Soden and he just spams them one by one. It's like shooting flies. And then they proceed to lose the map and then just get eliminated later. So yeah, I mean, I understand where they're coming from. I felt like throughout that map they had the reads in terms of what they wanted to do. But yeah, Energy were just really good at bouncing back from an initial deficit or
Yeah,
keeping the mental for a comeback. I think Energy's mental really has a lot that you need to give them credit for there. Not just in Champions, but also here they were able to really just stay calm and keep things going. So yeah, I mean, shout out to them for that. But yeah, I mean, for BBL, I think that they're also like a team like Nongshim, right? They won Ascension. They came second in Ascension the first time. They don't have Nongshim's two-time Ascension winner performance, but I
yeah,
mean, even the first time, it's kind of nice because the team, um, three other players were 16 or 17, so they couldn't have played in VCT anyway, so it wasn't too bad. And the moment they decided to stay together, a couple of them had individual offers. But yeah, they just decided, okay, we're going to stay together. We're going to try to make it as a team. And they also have that whole Premier to Masters pipeline story for a lot of them. So it's a very special team. I think they're
yeah,
very young. They don't have someone like RB really leading the helm. I would say they're all like people who are a family. They even have like matching T-shirts with their girlfriends. It's really cute. Yeah, so I would say they're a very young team, and yeah, I mean they're allowed to be confident. They won EMEA for all that EMEA talks about being the best region. They won EMEA, so they got to be the best of the best in their opinion.
yeah,
And even if the tournament didn't go their way, I think the ways they won a game and the ways that they lost, they were very close games. They never really got shit on like some of the teams that we saw. So I personally have a lot of respect for BBL, and I really like them as a team. I think it's important to have that kind of energy. I know people
yeah.
are like, "Oh no, we hate shit talk." You're not 5-year-olds, guys. Wake up. They're not even being that toxic.
Yeah,
They're
that's what I
like,
was gonna say. Like, they didn't
he's a
say
guy who
nothing
just
like out of order. It's just
he
like
didn't say they sucked. He said we could read them. It's not that toxic. I think that's okay to say even if you lost a game. If
yeah,
it was that close, I think it's fine.
and I think most of it was like bigging themselves up. Like most of it was like confidence or like overconfidence in their own ability. It wasn't so much trash
We
talk to
love cocky
the
people,
other
man.
team.
Like we love Demon One.
Exactly.
There were so many people who have done the same shit and like been so celebrated for it. Just because these guys lost, they get so much shit. And he didn't even play badly. Like, okay, the last game he played was pretty bad, but the first game he played, he was like god tier. I don't know. I mean, I think they're allowed their ego. They're like what 18, 19, not even like 20, 21, and they're here at a Masters tournament. They're from a country like Turkey where everybody's like an aim demon. So they're like the best of the best in their country in the EMEA region. And at Masters as well, they almost beat the world champs. I think you're allowed to have some degree of pride in that.
Exactly.
I don't believe in this whole narrative that, oh, you have to be humble. Like, okay, yeah, it's nice if you're humble. Cool. That means you're a better person than most people. Good for you. But it's also exciting if you're cocky. What's the point of being good at something if you're
Exactly.
not proud about it,
And also in like
Might as well do
any
it. And
elite
it's very
competition,
honest from BBL.
like this is what like this is what gets people to win championships. Is like having that like insane ego and
Self-confidence.
self confidence. Obviously, like there are outliers, or there are some players that aren't like that, and they have their own way, or whatever. But I mean, it works for them. They just won EMEA after getting in there for 2 months. So I think fair enough. As long as they can take it when they lose, like they lost eventually, and they'd
Yeah, I
have
mean
to
they were
accept.
sad about it, and they still maintained the same level, right? They were like, yeah, we feel like we could have played better, but yeah, like our opponents played well, but we still think we could have beaten them. I still think that's an okay thing to say,
Yeah.
after you lose a game. Like, yeah, you're not saying that they were trash. You're not saying that they were awful. You're saying like, yeah, we could beat them. It's still okay, in my opinion. Especially when you're so young, people don't realize how young some of these players are. Like, how cocky were you when you were like 17 or 18 or 19? You're probably a big trash talker yourself.
Yeah.
I was, and I know a lot of other people
And
are.
imagine,
I've seen the
yeah,
average Valorant person.
imagine
Yeah.
the regular ranked trash talker at that age, but they also just
Uh-huh.
got promoted into tier one, into a tier one league, and then won it on the first try. Imagine how big, like how massive your head would feel if you just done that. I think it's only natural that they've got like insane ego, even if it's just for the moment. But fair
I
enough,
don't
as
I
long as they can take it
I don't
when
even
they get
think
some
it's
back.
insane ego though. That's the thing, People say it's insane ego, but yeah, it's just self-confidence, I would say.
Yeah,
It's been really blown up because everybody's so used to like, oh, you gotta be humble and you gotta be grateful. And all of that is nice. It's important. No one's saying it's not, but it's also nice to be confident in yourself. And I mean, when, like you said, you're a team that went from winning Premier, you had offers, but you stayed with your friend, you win Ascension together, you joined Tier 1, and now you're winning your first tournament, you're at your first international. There's a lot to celebrate there. And I think that overall, this is only gonna, from my impression of them after their losses as well, it only left them with a resolve to come back stronger, as they say. So yeah, I think this isn't gonna really stop them. I think it's something that they had to learn. They've been winning so far. Maybe they had to learn how it felt to maybe not lose, not be able to win every day, lose on an international stage. And I think they took it far more gracefully than some of the teams, because some of the teams, not here, but I've seen teams like just skip the press conferences. I've seen teams like not take interviews or questions. I've seen teams like completely not even react to fans or anything. And I mean, they still took the time to sign things for fans, say goodbye. They were willing to answer questions. So I think overall, yeah, they're by far not like one of the worst teams by any means. They were pretty decent overall, I would say. And they added a lot of fun to watch. Like as a viewer, I want spice. I want drama at least a little bit. This was
exactly,
like wholesome drama, man. Having an 18-year-old say like, yeah, I think I'm the best in the world is fine. It's okay.
for sure. My confidence in them has not wavered. They'll be at champs for my prediction, and this is the first time I've ever said this on record. I remain a BBL lover. Because that was
I think we had a headline that said it, so all of us at Hotspot love BBL. Yeah.
yeah, just any because that was yeah, peek behind the curtain. But when like other people that don't like other people that aren't on the Valorant section saw a headline starting with BBL lovers rock, everyone was like, "What the fuck is this?" And yeah, it was like if
One of my
you're
friends saw that and she was like, "Did you write this?" And I was like, "Yeah, nice headline, bro." It was
where
really
is that
funny.
rock? Find me that rock, please. Anyway, um,
Let's move there. Yeah.
um, maybe we'll move on from Masters End. Was there any other final bits? What was your favorite interview that you did?
Interview for me, I think I really enjoyed talking to. Well, this one was a surprise for me because I didn't expect it to be super nice because it was after they got eliminated. But I really liked talking to Alam. In terms of personality, that was my favorite interview because this guy, he
You're
was
just so
eliminated
nice.
that day. He was so nice and he was so happy and he had so much passion for the game. And he's from Kyrgyzstan. I said Kazakhstan, but it's okay. It's an honest mistake. There's a lot.
And he was
It's a
very
complicated
gracious when
name,
you said
guys.
that as well. Like he was like the nicest
Yeah,
guy ever.
I felt super bad about it. Yeah, I mean, he was really nice
Right.
about it, and I think seeing someone like that who has a lot of, well, I know we were just saying, I really liked his attitude because he was like, yeah, I'm a really good player, but I just hit Radiance on a laptop and I decided to go pro. My family, they were a bit confused, but they were like supporting it. It was a very happy, wholesome interview. And usually people are like either really locked in or really depressed after they lose. But this guy was just chilling. It was like, I'm so happy I got to travel with my friends. We got to went to Santiago. We love the crowd. My coach is a nice guy. He's taking care of his dog. I don't know. It was such a wholesome group of people. I really like meeting the Furia guys. In terms of content, though, I would say my favorite interview was probably. It's actually a tough one because I got a lot of really good ones, but I really liked the one that I had with Francis. I really liked the way that he looked at the game. I liked that it was nice to talk to him about the team, about the leadership that RB has brought to it, and kind of just understand why this new Nongshim looks so much more dangerous. So I think yeah, he had a lot of nice things to say about, and he was the guy who said yeah, the current meta is difficult to play, but it's fun to watch, and I agree with him. So he was really sweet to interview. I made him wear the Nongshim ears as well, the same ones that Megan was
Yeah.
wearing. He wasn't very happy, but he said he'll do it anyway. So yeah, shout out to Francis. He's so sweet.
Nice.
I
I'd
think I
say
think every single interview I did at this event was really adorable. The guys were so
yeah,
nice. Everybody was so happy with the crowd and the aura. No, and no tech pauses, no atrocities going on. So everybody was pretty happy and upbeat this event.
yeah. Good point actually, because it just it does happen, and just sometimes it's their mood, or sometimes just players are a bit more quiet. But you get interviews where you get a couple of questions in, and you're thinking like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have to do some heavy lifting here to get some answers out of them. I don't feel like there was even a single one like that. Like everyone was open, everyone was nice, giving good answers. I'd say my favorite quote was the Nerve one. I slept on the floor and ate
The
oatmeal every
oatmeal
day.
one.
Now I get to eat steak with my best friends and sleep in a bed. That's so funny. Uh, pop,
I saw like a tweet by the guy, like that's why I asked him the question because he
yeah,
mentioned like after they won Ascension, no sorry, after like they joined the team and they won like stage one, he made like yeah for like a whole year I was just like lying on the floor and eating like really crap food to get to tier one and now I'm finally here and I have a trophy and I was like I wanted to ask him about that like what did you do? Why were you sleeping on the floor? What happened to you? So it was really nice to hear from him and I mean it kind of shows the work and the passion that these guys have as well, right? Because we're always talking about stats and about like how X pro player or Y pro player is so good or so bad, but we never really think about the stories and the lives of the people behind
yeah,
them as often. So it was nice to really see that, especially with such different regions, different cultures, and it's also nice to see so many players with very supportive parents, especially not just in North America or Europe where it's more common, but also Asia, right? Like you have well, not in Korea. I think Korea being an esports player is a very accepted career. Everyone knows Faker, but I think yeah, like a lot of Asian countries as well. It's very interesting to hear. Like talking to Wayne was super nice, for example, because he was like, "Yeah, my parents didn't know what the fuck was going on. They thought it was a scam, but once it was
yeah,
real, it was so nice to go. They've been very supportive. It's just very wholesome to talk to players and understand the humanity behind their cracked, radiant lives."
yeah. Especially like the one like Nerve, it just makes you realize just how different the scale is. Like once you can get to tier one, like especially for him to do it so quick as well to get there, and then like the amazing Furia rebuild, and suddenly they're champions and going to globals.
Hmm.
And yeah, just a few months ago was sleeping not in a bed. But listen, there's nothing wrong with oatmeal, or again to correct
I
American
like oatmeal.
American
Just
English to
saying.
English porridge. We call it porridge, but um, I had it for breakfast this morning. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. You just got to know how to prepare it. Need some like decent toppings, and it's fine. It's good. But
Hmm.
it just reminded me as well, like of I don't know if you saw the post of Caillou after he's been dropped by Sentinels doing
I didn't see the post, but what did he say?
it was just a picture of like his wherever he was his living accommodation with all boxed up, and it just said
Oh, I
goodbye.
saw that. I saw that.
Yeah,
That
it
was
just
so
said
fucking
like
sad.
goodbye
No.
LA, and like he'd got there 2 months ago to join Sen. A similar thing, like he would have. I don't know if he was like homeless, like it sounds like Nerve was, but he's gone from presumably living in his bedroom or whatever to moving out to LA to live his dream, to be a tier one pro. He's had one competition where they played like 3 matches, 3, 4 matches or so, and he's out,
Hmm.
and that's it. Back to reality. So it's just crazy how different it is and how quickly it can all change.
We see that all
Brutal,
the time. Unfortunately, it's the
brutal.
price of working in esports. It's pretty sad sometimes. Yeah, but I did hear a rumor that he might be joining Amadi because Amadi dropped
Yeah,
Derek
with
recently.
Kaplan, isn't it?
So I heard that. Yeah. So who knows? Maybe we'll see him back in LA pretty soon. But talking about Sentinels, I'm also pretty excited about the
Great
new
transition.
prospective player. Yeah, I mean, I'm already happy about the coach. I'm very excited to have another Pacific coach join with Ewok. But I think the signings as well have been pretty exciting coming in from Sen. I think it's having John Curie back on IGL. Maybe I don't know. I mean, a lot of people have talked about the transitioning from tier two to tier one and IGLing as well is definitely difficult. So I think John is going to be more experienced. But
Yeah,
yeah, having someone like JonahP joining the SEN roster, that was also really fire because the game that G2 lost to Paper Rex, Achilles was casting and he was just like, yeah, G2 wanted to school Paper Rex today, but they didn't have the professor, and I was like, oh, ice cold. It was really good casting. Shout out to Achilles and Paperton this tournament. They did a really fucking good job. But I think that talking about JonahP joining SEN, it's really good because it kind of frees up another person to be a bit more flexible. I think Narrate, he can continue like a secondary initiator kind of role, be a bit more flexible, or he
I
can play
think
scan
well,
and
but
Jonah can
he's
flex.
probably
Jonah's
out,
really
isn't he,
flex,
Narrate?
yeah.
Have you not seen the rumors at the
I
moment?
saw it, but I'm not sure. That's the thing, right? Because they haven't confirmed it. But yeah,
Yeah.
if he's out, I thought he was joining KC. I would actually love to have KC narrate back. I feel like he was one of the better players on the team. Um, sorry about that, but it's true. He had pretty good stats. So,
I think it's
but
a nice fit for KC because like they have this thing in League of Legends as well, and it's a bit kind of weird to describe, and it's not even something that probably most people would consciously think or consciously realize, but they have this thing of kind of being willing to take risks on players that other teams probably wouldn't. So like even just getting their 8 in the first place when he was coming from tier 2 was like a bit mad. Probably not as doesn't seem as odd or as risky to re-sign him now. But
mhm,
yeah, like their League of Legends team does like they take some big swings that are like come out of left field and get the odd player that you wouldn't expect them to sign at all. That it's
mhm,
not like you wouldn't expect in the sense of like they seem too good to join this team or something like that. But it's just kind of a go in a direction um, you wouldn't have expected. So I feel like Narrate on KC just feels like a good fit, and it's just like an interesting fit as well. Obviously, still kind of rare to have an NA player over in EMEA. That's pretty cool.
mhm.
Um,
Are we used to it though at this point?
yeah. And yeah, the rumors right now is that Jerrwin is about to join from SAD, I think, in NA
Yeah.
challenges. So for what it seems like, they were trialing with TenZ and wanted TenZ back, and I can only
Mhm.
assume that like if those rumors were true, the rest of it was that it was like contractual issues that would have made it very difficult to actually sign TenZ, and that seems to be why they're not going to in the end. Um, which also would imply that he wanted to come back and like he was willing to do it. I don't know if that would have been for for the rest of the year or for a few months until stage 2 or something. Um, it certainly seemed like he was like open to doing it, but it seems to be something along the lines of like Riot has rules that have to be like I don't know baked into the players' contracts or with the team contracts and the team agreements or something. But basically, you can't have a player that is doing promotion for other games. And I guess it
Mhm.
would be where like 10. So the first rumors that came out was that you couldn't have conflicting sponsors, which just had to have been. I
I
mean,
think that
just immediate.
TenZ's agent also like rebutted, right? He made a post about it.
Yeah, because that just immediately makes no sense because teams always have conflicting
Everybody
sponsors
has
with
sponsors. Like
Riot.
Riot
Yeah,
has sponsors,
Riot has
bro.
sponsors for a gaming monitor, and not every team is going to have the same sponsor. So that was like obviously just bollocks. But I think was
Mhm.
probably more on the money was the promoting of other games, which like definitely is a no-no for Riot. And I don't even know if that TenZ would be would have something where he's doing that directly, but I guess like his partnership. I can't remember what the company. There's like a peripherals company that he's doing stuff with all the time. I can't remember the name of it, but
I
like a
don't either.
keyboard one
Sorry.
or something. I think it's like a Korean keyboard company or something. But anyway, he's like all over their marketing. I can only assume like it's something where he's like tied into a company that is doing stuff with other games, something along
Mhm.
those lines. But yeah, his agent came out and said like it would be very difficult uh to to come back even if they wanted to. So it did seem like just some annoying background issue that blocked it. And Rob Moore obviously couldn't keep his mouth shut again, and
He never does, to be fair.
absolutely loves the sound of his own voice. That guy. But yeah, so he was, or although loves to read his own tweets, maybe because I guess it's stuff he didn't verbally say. But he was tweeting again, reiterating what he said really on like those streams right after they dropped Kaplan, saying that he would have TenZ back anytime TenZ wanted to return to pro play. He'd have a spot on Sentinels. And so when the rumors finally came out that Jerrwin was going to sign, which still is unconfirmed, they haven't announced anything, so we don't know, if it's 100% true or
Mhm.
not. But yeah, the rumors were that they're signing Jerrwin, and that they chose him over TenZ. And then Rob Moore came out and was like, "No, we would never choose any player over TenZ. TenZ would always be our first choice player."
That's so mean to
And he
say, like
and he
right
even
before a
and
new
he
guy
and,
supposedly joins.
yeah, and then he tweeted saying like, even the players we trialed wanted TenZ to sign, like over
What
them,
the fuck,
and
bro?
then Jerwin himself. I don't know if you saw.
Like,
He
no, no.
replied.
I mean, I want to join your team, but I also would rather have TenZ here. I completely agree with you. Yeah, this isn't a serious tryout at all.
Let
That
me
was so fucking funny.
let me find this tweet because it was so funny. Because he was responding to the leaker that had leaked that they chose Jerwin. To be fair, this leaker didn't post it like openly themselves. They put it in a Discord, and someone screenshotted the Discord, and that's kind of what went viral. But the thing is not really in line to show tweets. But basically, Rob Moore says, "Oh yeah, it's this guy how do you say it? Akamaru, who leaks a bunch of
The reporter, yeah,
news."
Thomas.
Yeah. So Rob Moore says, "Seriously, is this a parody account? Nobody in the org didn't want TenZ. Even the players we trialed would prefer to see TenZ return." And then
That
he
was
says,
so
"Yeah, oh
fucking
yeah, as
funny.
TenZ agent said, there are certain factors that make it a difficult decision." Jerrwin actually replied to it saying, "I can't believe this. We wanted you to sign TenZ." It's pretty funny. But
That
yeah, I
was
mean,
really funny, yeah.
imagine how awkward like that position that puts you in. It's like before with
Jerrwin, poor guy.
how he came out saying so much stuff about Kaplan and disagreeing with Kaplan, and we were saying like, imagine your Ewok just, you just signed to replace him, and you're thinking, fucking hell, if it doesn't go right with me, what's he gonna say when he gives me the
About
sack
me next,
in a
yeah.
year or something? But
Who's the next one? You know, like the Reaper meme where you like
yeah, exactly.
go.
But to be fair, I guess Rob Moore is, he's adding fuel to the fire, but him doing these tweets or not, Sentinels is like the most scrutinized team anyway.
Popular.
So if you're joining as a rookie, you know what you're getting into anyway, regardless of if Rob Moore is sticking his why am I blanking on the phrase, sticking his thumb in? I don't know, but so yeah, we'll wait and see if and when that gets announced. What other news is there? Oh, Masters London. We got the
Ticket info, yeah.
yeah. So the ticket stuff's out, but and then they've confirmed where it's going to be, which I don't think they had done before. Which is the
Do you
Copper
know the
Box.
arena?
Yeah, Copper Box Arena.
Lee's a
Which
local, by the way, guys. So just so you know.
well, I'm not a local. Well, these days I'm not in the country, but I wasn't a local to this arena, annoyingly, because I was from West London, and this is like way over East London, which I don't know, for people that live in like smaller cities that aren't like massive ones like London, you might think, well, one side of the city to the other is no big deal. I think from where I grew up to go to there, it would take like an hour 30 minutes within the same city, which is like quite
That's
annoying.
insane.
Quite annoying. Because and to be fair, it's the Riot have used the venue before, and actually, weirdly, that venue has done like a bunch of esports stuff. I guess whoever owns it and runs it is pretty clued in that sense. So they had MSI in 2023 with Riot, which was my first event that I went to as press in
Ooh,
person,
that's
which
so
was very
nice.
nice because it was like when I was first kind of getting into being in the proper Riot channels to get interview access and stuff, and then up popped MSI in London, and I luckily got credentials. But yeah, so that's where my experience comes from of bloody traveling to it, and yeah, going every day, an hour 30 minutes there, hour 30 minutes back. At least I had work to do anyway, so it wasn't too bad. But yeah, so they've done that. I think they've done Rocket League in the past as well, and I feel like maybe one or two other things. It's a decent arena, and I was kind of a little bit surprised at how big it is too, because it is pretty sizable. Because we were just talking about this actually on the league episode we did last week ahead of First Stand, because First Stand is just happening now, which is League of Legends' first international of the year, and that is also in Latin America. That's in Sao Paulo, but it's in Riot's studio in Sao Paulo, which has a
Yeah, I think that's where
capacity.
they had the GC event, I think.
Yeah,
Like
probably would be.
for
Yeah,
second
and
game changers or something, yeah.
with a capacity of 140 people for the first global event of the year. The whole tournament is going to be there. and that was like a big controversy. Even the Genji's owner um, tweeted saying like, "I can't believe my wedding had a higher capacity than the first stand
That's
arena."
so fucked.
Um, and well, so we were talking about this on the league episode, and I was saying that it's quite cool what they do with Valorant, where they've for the last couple of Masters, where it's not in like necessarily like a theater or like an arena. It seems to be more like a convention center, like exhibition sort of thing, and they just set the stage up in the middle, and they can put the chairs round, and they can choose how big or small they want it, and they can have it perfectly set up for their needs, and they can have the booths around and everything, and the vibe is great because everyone's packed into one area, and it looks really cool, and it had this like kind of like the nightclub sort of feel, and then they go and book the Copper Box Arena, which is like a what you'd imagine, what you'd think of as a regular arena, not like an exhibition hall or something. And it is pretty big. So yeah, I wonder how they're actually going to lay it out and how they're going to do it, because when they had MSI in London, they did have like the first few days. Actually, I think most of the tournament was nowhere near sold out. And they were doing that thing as well where you don't use the whole arena because it's like a circular arena. You kind of cover off half of it, and you have a stage in the middle, so you're only using half the arena. And even then, they weren't selling out much of
Wow.
it. Um, so it's going to be interesting. The finals were like obviously sold out, so you're not going to have like something too
Hmm.
embarrassing towards the end of it. I
What do you
don't
think
imagine.
about the ticket prices? I don't
Oh,
know
I
if you
didn't
had a
see
look
them.
at them. I think for the finals, the most expensive ticket is about $150, but all the days I think have like the cheapest ticket starts at like 10 to $20 for depending on the day. So it's not too bad, I would say. How is that for London?
Um, I think that's not much more expensive than. Oh, so actually, oh yeah, I'm just looking at them now. So tier one, early stages, weekdays, £50 is most expensive, and down to £10 the cheapest. Okay, they probably learnt their lesson from MSI then. I don't remember them being anywhere near that cheap. Um, so they're probably like these look cheap to me. Weekend price max £75, and then when you get to the finals, the most expensive £125. That is like very reasonable for any sporting event or any like theatre event. So even on the grand finals, you can have a ticket for £25. Pretty
That's,
good.
I mean, I'm pretty sure those are gonna sell like hotcake. So
Yeah, for sure. I don't know when's it on sale. It's probably gone already. So let's hope that I get access, eh? Because otherwise
I mean, it's
I
it's
ain't going.
it's it's your hometown event as well.
Exactly. That's why I got to try and go. Free accommodation. And just ring up mum and dad and
How
accept
you
it.
doing?
Yeah.
The prodigal
Fancy
son returns.
seeing me in June, and by seeing me, I mean seeing me in the morning before I go to work, and not seeing me after that. But yeah, we'll see. Um, so yeah, I mean, it should be good. Yeah, that'd be interesting then. I feel like they shouldn't have attendance issues if they, yeah, if it's as cheap as ten
The
pounds.
I
Like,
really
come on.
like the artwork. I hope they have it. That I was reading like rumors that the new map is gonna be a castle, or there's gonna be a lot of castle themed shit. I mean, the text looks very medieval, so it does
Yeah,
look very interesting.
seems like they're playing into some sort of aesthetic. Interesting. Um, was there any other news? Anything else for us to chat about for a few minutes? I'm through the
I
doc.
mean, what do you think about the new patch?
I hadn't even read it, to be honest. Once Masters
It's
finished, and
okay. You
like
can you can read my article
yeah,
later.
exactly. That's
But
what I'm waiting for.
I mean, TLDR, they're fucking up Yoru. They're screwing Clove even more, which I don't think matters because people are gonna keep picking the agents anyway. It's annoying. But yeah, I mean, I'm just excited about the new updates. It's the map pool is gonna be changing. God bless both Corona and Abyss are out. Like, I mean, I like them, but I don't like them that much. And Fracture is coming back as somebody who is a certified Ultorb spammer who loves collecting Ultorbs. This is my favorite map because you have 4 fucking Ultorbs ready. I always get my ult in like 2 rounds, no matter what I'm playing. So I love it.
Um,
It'll be nice to get rid of Abyss and Corrode, though. They're so annoying. I get them all the time.
yeah,
And I also really like Lotus and Fracture comparatively, so it's gonna be nice. But they've changed the maps a little bit as well on A side. So yeah, I mean, we'll put out everything in the patch notes. We'll mention what's changed and what hasn't. So do not worry.
sure. Oh, did you see Fnatic confirmed a new roster?
Player?
I don't know how to explain it without giving it away, but they announced a roster
change?
Technically, yes, but not really anything. I saw Kojo earlier, like
Kojo was just being
he
dramatic,
baited.
right?
Yeah, he baited
Whatever.
with the signature GIF, and then it turned out to be that Crashies is now officially on their starting roster and no longer is like
For fuck's
on
sake.
the Valorant database. No longer is
How
a
much how
sub.
much will Fnatic milk Crashies, bro? That's my real question. Like all they do is milk this man. They made all that yaoi content when they announced his re-signing, and now we've got this shit.
Yep. Well, they got
And
to
it's
pay.
really
They
funny
got to
to
pay the
me.
bills, and they got to pay the bills until someone buys them for the 100 million that they want. They've got to farm impressions or do whatever they can.
It's just fucking funny.
Well, maybe we leave it there then.
Yeah, I guess. Was today shorter than average or something, or are
I
we
feel like
just
a little
like
bit, but to be fair, it's just once we get through the Masters stuff, there's nothing else going on, is there? So it makes sense.
makes
So
sense, makes sense.
we hope everyone else enjoyed Masters then as much as we did. Zach, I'm sure you're gonna
Haha.
relax. You, yeah, you've earned a vacation, so it's just as well you're in Santiago with lovely weather, eh?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very happy. It's definitely nice to still be here. I've got a week left, and it'll be nice to not look at a computer for a while. I do miss playing Valorant. I visited a couple of gaming cafes, so I might go do that a little bit in the middle. But yeah, mostly just gonna avoid Valorant for a little bit, touch some grass, do
Ross,
all
what's
that,
that?
all the shenanigans that are normal of people, I guess. I don't know.
Well, enjoy. I'll hold down the fort. Don't worry.
Thank you, Lee.
No, my pleasure. But yeah, we'll leave it there then. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you probably maybe ahead of stage one. We'll see. I don't remember what the dates are, but if not,
I
some
think it's
point,
like towards the beginning of April or something like that. So
yeah, maybe we'll sneak one
we
in
got we got
just
a little bit
before.
of a break.
Yeah, exactly. Give it a couple of weeks.
But yeah, I
Sneak
think
something.
I think that just to add on for viewers, VCT Americas and Pacific have started announcing like ticket details and schedules and shit. So I don't think the match schedules are out yet, but the groups have been out for a while. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
Pacific definitely has a group of Deathly because the group is, let me tell you, it's
I
got Team
just
Secret, which is a meme, I'm aware, but
yeah.
it's also got GE, Paper X, Nongshim, goddamn fucking Gen G, and I forgot one more team that was really annoying. So
But
yeah, this is it's a group of death. Yeah.
that reminds me actually because we didn't talk about this because it happened during the tournament. But did you see that? Well, they actually announced. Oh my god, that's the wrong button. But they've actually announced that there's like some sort of investigation now that's happening
Oh yeah, I
in
saw that
Pacific for obviously wearing headphones very naturally like this,
awkwardly,
obviously,
stupidly. Yeah,
which
yeah,
doesn't.
it is a bit fucking sus. So
And also, but did you see the stuff about the group draw that I think Frost mentions. So I watched this back. So it was in the last Spike talk, and he was kind of hinting at things being rigged, and he said something about how like he was he perfectly predicted or almost perfectly predicted what he thought the group draw was going to be
ha
because
ha ha
he
ha ha.
had a
I saw
feeling
that. Yeah.
that it was rigged for a certain team, which seems to be it seems to be the implication is that things are fixed or like a lovely helping hand to T1 to try and make their life easier. And then because of that, someone went back and watched the draw and put a clip of it on Val Comp. And obviously the draw is like the pools were teams of two, right? So you pick between one of two teams in 6 different boxes. So there's 2 balls, and the guy has to go up, move around, and pick one out. And the guy drawing them,
Okay.
he goes up, and it's a transparent container,
It
so
looks very
you can
sus.
see the 2 balls, and the guy goes up, looking at it like this, and goes with his eyes on it the whole time, and then picks one out. And yeah, it's just bizarre. Like it doesn't necessarily. It's not like a nailed on thing that the guy knows which ball is which, and he's looking at it because he wants to make sure he picks the right one. But it certainly doesn't help to not think that the fact that first off it's transparent, which is kind of a bit
Yeah.
maybe a bit odd. I guess maybe
Icky.
for the broadcast to see that it's being shuffled, you want to be able to see it, but for it to be transparent and the guy is literally staring at it the whole time between 2 balls, which is not exactly hard if I know which one's which, to go like this and pick out the right one. it's just bizarre that the guy's doing it like that. And what's so funny is that yeah, this thread that someone posted of it on Valcomp, Frost was in the comments as well. Someone was saying like, why is he looking
Frost
at?
is everywhere, man.
Someone
That guy has
someone
no
commented
rest at
saying
all.
like, why is this guy looking at it the whole time? And Frost replied like, you know exactly why he's looking
You
at
know why?
it, which is just
Fuck,
so
man.
funny. That's like how brazen Frost is to to say that stuff. And to be fair, like I don't know, it looks sus as hell. I can't lie. Um,
It does look really fucking sus. I'm sorry. No, I agree with
even
you.
if the guy like the generous interpretation is the guy's just being stupid by looking at him while he's drawing it, which still looks it just looks ridiculous. Once you realise it, you can't unsee that he's just staring directly at it, and it just looks absolutely bizarre. Not a great look. At minimum, they've got to not do that moving forwards. And it's part of like the wider conspiracy, I guess, that the Korean teams get preferential treatment. Kim was saying stuff like the Korean teams are allowed to smoke in the toilets and don't get punished for it, but the other teams will.
That just sounds like sour grapes. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna complain too much about that. Just let him smoke too, bro. Poor guy.
Well, that was the point.
I'm
He was
sorry.
saying like they got punished for it and the other teams don't. Um, and that was where, and actually, so he mentioned, and this was funny as well. So Jemkin said about like, we can hear the Korean commentators coming through the headphones, as though to say like Korean teams
And
will
we
have an
don't speak
advantage.
Korean. Yeah, I saw
And
that.
and that was part. And then obviously there was the thing of like seeing the Korean players with their headphones slightly off like that, which definitely like 100% was. I think it
Sus as fuck, yeah.
was them doing it on purpose. Like there's no way you can accidentally be like this. It's straight away you can hear the outside noises coming in, and it feels strange. Like there's no way you do that by accident and just sit there with it by accident, in my opinion. But when Jemkin said like, "Oh yeah, we can hear the Korean casters," Frost was also saying like, "Oh no." Jemkin is just trying to point it out without actually saying outright what it is. He knows that the players have their headphones off. He just doesn't want to say it, and that's why he's just saying we can all hear the casters. What he really means is I know that the players are, having their headphones funny so that they can hear. Yeah, there was also the clip of like a PaperX voice comms video they put out, and at some point you can hear the casters seeping into that, like through their microphones as well. So everyone's like looking for all the evidence, but Riot have said they're investigating stuff. They have a history of saying they've investigated stuff, and then
Yeah, I was just
nothing
gonna
ever
say
happens.
that.
We never hear about it. Fluorescent investigation. I'm blanking on others. There's in League of Legends. There's so many of them. Evil Geniuses in League of Legends, like a player supposedly had like a breakdown and was like pressured to keep
Oh, I
playing.
saw that. That was like a year or so ago, right? Like,
A couple of years ago,
while ago.
yeah. But supposedly, like the CEO pressured him to keep playing, and then they said they were going to investigate it, and then the CEO left esports, and then suddenly there's no investigation happening. Seemingly, one of the LEC casters, like 4 or 5 years ago, said that she'd had like, I'm pretty sure she said there was like homophobia happening, and then a new commissioner came in. A journalist asked him about in an interview, like, "Oh, what's happening with these like someone saying that there was homophobia," and he was like, "Oh, I don't even know about it. It's first I've heard of it. Yeah, we'll take a look
What
at
the
it,"
fuck?
and then nothing else
Bruh.
ever came out about it. So, Riot saying that there's an investigation. To be fair, the tier 2 match fixing one was like the first time in a long time I can remember them like coming out about a controversy and actually having a conclusion to it, even if the conclusion maybe didn't come out as some people hoped or some people thought it should have. Yeah, don't be surprised if there's never anything else said about this. Although
I
maybe they
wouldn't be
can't,
surprised,
maybe they
sadly.
maybe they can't get away with it because Frost isn't going to stop talking if he doesn't think something's happening. So I don't know. We'll see. But it's a start, I suppose. Still the classic as well of like not having an official comment from Riot Games saying like this is a Riot Games competitive integrity announcement. We are investigating these allegations. So it has to be like some Riot or the commissioner or the head of the region coming out and just doing a tweet saying like, oh yeah, don't worry guys, we're looking at it.
Yeah,
Can
Jake.
we make this more
I'm
official?
sorry, but Jakeson does not fill me with a great degree of confidence when it comes to investigating things. This guy is sus as fuck.
I mean, it's
Well,
an
not sus,
it
but
should be an
you know what I
investigation
mean, right?
about cheating, like the most serious investigation. It can't just
Yeah.
be like a tweet that's
I mean, they made
announcing
a
we're
whole
looking at
ass
it.
article about one guy like getting a fucking offer to match fix and banned him for a year. You know, the least you can do is investigate your whole league if people are complaining about corruption, right? It doesn't make sense otherwise.
I mean, yeah, a lot of it, like, you could say the smoking thing, like maybe that's security not notifying, or the guy looking at the things as he's drawing, maybe he's just a thick person, or he's just not thinking how stupid he looks. But the headphone thing for me is, I don't see any
The headphones
explanation for
is
the headphone
really
thing.
competent into yeah, that's definitely fucking sus.
And there are some of them, like, because there was a couple of screenshots that went around. I can't remember which player it was. I don't want to.
Munchkin was one of them, sadly.
I remember definitely Lakia was one of them. I'm trying to remember. There was one player in particular that had it like the most egregious. Like you could literally see like the bottom of their earlobe poking out, and there's just no way it was by accident, in my opinion. So at the very least, that needs some looking at. They need to just, I don't know, just actually enforce whatever rules they've got about it and check things. It's like it reminds me. Sorry to always bring things back to football, but you have, well, just I'm sure other sports have these things as well. But you just do like basic checks. So like in football, your football boots have metal studs on the bottom, so you don't slip on the grass or on wet grass. And
Yeah.
even when if you play for a team on a Sunday morning as a 7-year-old, the referee will go and check every player's boots because they have to be. There's rules. They can only have like a certain
Some
number of
number of
studs,
pleats
and
or
they have to be just circular studs. They can't be, because there used to be like a trend 20 years ago where you get ones that were blades that were like a line, and it basically ended up being like a knife, and it would just cut people's legs. So literally in like children's football, it's just a formality. You just check everyone's boots. You just have to look at them for 1 second. Fine. The referees at the start of a map, or maybe they do it. Well, even not even at the start of the map, they could just be checking on it the whole game. Just check the
mm-hmm.
headphones. If the referee sees that someone's headphones don't look great, have a word with them and just tell them, make sure you have things on properly, please. And if they don't do it,
Yeah.
then it needs looking into.
Gotta
Like it doesn't
punish
seem.
them, yeah, I don't know.
Otherwise, what the referee's doing? Because I know like they're called referees, but I'm pretty sure mostly their job is there to like communicate with the players when things like if there's like a pause or a tech pause or something, they talk to the referee that's standing behind them or the referee that's around the arena. They're not doing like classic refereeing of making decisions and things. I don't think. I could be wrong. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that seems like an obvious thing. Just have someone checking it because yeah, you can't be having players just bloody having their headphones half off. It's
Cheating.
ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, to me, it just looks
Yeah.
like they're blazingly, like blazingly cheating. But let's see. Let's wait for
I mean,
Riot
the
to.
caster audio is also live in the arena, so I mean, it's also it definitely could be a factor because if only the Korean team speak Korean and the casting is in Korean,
Yep.
it is pretty
And a
awkward.
couple of Korean players happen to be with their headphones off slightly. Not so
Yeah,
good, but
it's not exactly the most unsuspicious look. That's the nicest way I can say it.
yep, exactly. So there we go. That will conclude the episode then. Now that I jogged my memory and remembered one more thing. But yeah, thanks for listening, everybody, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks, probably. Catch you then.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, congrats on Nongshim again. I mean, it was the shittiest grand finals in terms of score, but it was the most epic tournament I've ever visited. So thanks to Santiago and everyone here who made everything so fantastic. And
Yep.
honestly, shout out to Riot for this one. I know we complain a lot about them deservedly, but I think this event, everyone involved, coordinating it on the ground and also making sure that everything was running smoothly. I think everyone did a fucking fantastic job. People were so nice here,
Yeah.
and I really love the vibe.
And from what I hear as well, from like I've only ever gone to events for Riot, but from what I hear, like the on-site press experience is way better for Riot than other people. Well, even just like down to like
Mhm.
the press room and having snacks and drinks and all sorts like that. So they take care of you.
Oh, the snacks were great. I tried like so many different Chilean chocolates and snacks here. Like I had at least 4 or 5 different kinds. So yeah, that's great. I really like the choquita. Anyone from Santiago is watching this, shout out to you guys.
Nice. I'll look out for them. Go for a Latin supermarket. What is that? What
Uh,
are they?
It's like a Kit Kat, but like fluffier and also like tastier. I can't really explain it. It's like a chocolate bar, but yeah, it's like a local thing. It's delicious.
Stim. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed yourself, Zach. Good work over there on the ground. Good interview. And yeah, we'll catch everybody
Yeah,
later.
I'm glad we got so many this interview. Like I think the head of press here as well, Juan, like shout out to him. He was super fucking nice the whole time. Always happy to help try and get interviews. We even tried to get some with the devs and stuff, but I don't think the main team was responding. But he really tried. He did like so much to make the event fantastic for all of us. So yeah,
That guy,
this
like,
was one of the
I was
yeah.
gonna say, he's like always, he's going like 100 miles an hour. That guy when you're on events, he's like the one of like Riot Global like PR press people and taking care of everybody
I
and
have
just
so much
like
respect for him and the entire team. There was someone called Mume who was, dealing with the fan arena and also talking to us in general. Connie Constanza, she was the one who was handling like the invites and stuff and just interviews, questions room, the list, everything. Yeah, I mean, I think every Felipe as well, who was doing that as well. Everybody here was just super fucking nice. I really loved my time working in Santiago, like here, because I mean, the teams were nice, the people were nice, everyone was so nice. I don't want to go home. Oh.
nice weather. I wasn't jealous.
You have London, you'll be fine.
Yeah, it'd be grey and well, yeah. I remember when I went to MSI in that arena would have been June or July, and I remember it rained some days. Wasn't it? Some days had nice sunshine, but nothing's guaranteed.
I mean, I think
Nothing's
Masters
guaranteed
London
there.
is at the best time for London. You have the most chance of sunshine.
Yeah,
If it's in fucking July and June as opposed to, spring or
exactly.
winter. So I think London they plan for the
Fingers
time.
crossed. Fingers crossed. We'll see. But yeah, let's wrap it then. I'm gonna go have some dinner.
Perfect.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
go for
thanks
it.
for listening, everybody, and we'll catch
Yeah,
you
thank you, everyone.
for some stage 1 coverage in a couple of weeks.